We'll do it live, as they say. How's everyone doing? Gotta fix my bot. But today is sort of going to be a little bit of a continuation of Monday's stream for whoever was there on Monday. A little bit unplanned, but the weekend is going to be, in old money, the weekend is going to be in the hundreds in Fahrenheit. So not really conducive to streaming when you don't have air conditioning. But that's okay. Today's still acceptable. Happy Thanksgiving to those in the US who are still awake. If you're not, and if you're drunk, then, you know, well done. That's what you're supposed to do. Okay, so we on the test bench today we have $790X UD4P. I'm doing this as I'm adjusting the bot. Yeah, so 790X UD4P. Got the bulk. Where's the other stick? Bulk D9s. Actually, the spreaders on these are modded, so it's not necessarily a ballistic stick, but it's still good D9s. I'm gonna do mem max valid basically. So in order for me to be able to do that, I've brought out a few tools. Here's my tray, aptly named random locked AM3 chips. So there's Athlons and Semprons in there. In the rig I have a Sempron 140, but in case I run out, here's another bag of IMCs. Right. And I've got my hydration here, so that's all good. Livestream 94. I'm hoping I can make this a long one. All dependent on the internet cooperating and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so how does one do this thing? So temps are good, unsurprisingly. I'll look at my previous sub just for a bit of inspiration. Memory. It is memory. My best is obviously on Intel, but my second best I think is on AMD for lack of other subs. So I did it on this board. I did it on a 940. I'm not going to test the 940s tonight, I don't think. So I think it's the 2:1 ratio, and then 666 Cas2, obviously single channel inside slot, sort of what I remember. Let's see, let's post with those ratios the lowest. I love that ultra durable splash. Safe to CMOS. Let's call it IMC. Not that it should make any difference, but I'll disable the LAN audio and Firewire and serial. I think I had best luck with 2x last time, but it shouldn't matter so much. How are you fine folks doing? Let's what's 3 a.m. in New York. Okay. What about the West Coasters? You're still up partying, aren't you? Just past midnight. It's all good. All right. I can throw a block on there if I need to, but 32 is fine. These are single cores after all. So if memory serves, I think the top divider is pretty buggy. Let's just give it one quick whirl, but I thought it had issues posting. Yes, he's going to be stuck on C1. On this board, the top divider is, oh, maybe it just needs a little bit of extra time. Okay, let's give the top divider a go. It's good to figure these things out. Okay, so I actually do want the CPU fan all the way up because that's what's on my RAM. That's pretty loose. Let's try C6 on these. Always a bit funny when you're running DDR or DDR2, because I find that DDR3 can more or less run as loose as you want to run it, and DDR4 is similar, but DDR1 and 2, you really have to be careful because you can actually have RAM that clocks worse when loose. Well, that's the case for 3 and 4, but at least it'll post at stock with really loose timings. Who else loves 1.5 liter bottles of water? All right, this is starting to get respectable already. So my previous best was 1300. Okay, let's try it. Let's see if we can post 1200. Funny how these postcodes haven't changed much. Even my LGA 1200 board still uses the C postcodes to signify memory issues. So I think this is gonna fail over onto the second BIOS. Either that or I'll have to clear it manually. That was quick. This board came back from the dead as well, so that's always nice. So let's, no, not save. We want to load, and then we want to go whatever, just a token amount, just to see. Okay, 1150, let's say. Maybe that's actually, oh, Doc Gregor, how are you doing? I'm using one of your mate's RAM here, bulk BLC. It's French as well. Okay, that's a good start. And we've got mods in the chat too. 00 and White Shark, nice. And 60 Fine and Atten, I recognize you guys. All right, let's load her up. Okay, so the litmus test, if anyone remembers the litmus test from school, is always to do this tiniest of overclocks and see if something happens. If it won't post this, then we know that the ratio is just screwed. I'll give it 2 reboots, but I wonder if I can be fancy and do like a little digital digital zoom sort of thing. And show you the postcodes more clearly. All right. Be patient with me. I'm resizing as we speak. Oops. What was it? I thought it was like shift or something to crop in. As we're boot looping, we may as well. Alt cropping, yeah, that's what I thought. Alt. Would help if I press the right alt though. On the right PC. Okay, here we go, here we go. This is like lo-fi production here going on. We'll keep the alien's crotch in there, you know, just because why not? And now we can actually blow it up again. Ooh, there we go. Nice. So even when we're in browser mode, we can still see the crotch. All right. All right. All good. So one last thing I can try is give it a little bit more oomph. So I load up the profile. I give it, I don't know, 300 millivolts. Even that seems low. 400 millivolts. And actually just save and exit once, just in case there's something wrong with that. Okay. Okay. That's clearly not working, so I'll load the profile and go down a strap. What did I save to the profile that the board is so allergic to? Sometimes this board needs a 24-pin pull, but I'm used to it now. Okay, so let's go back to auto timings. It's not bad either. Fair enough. Oh, so it worked on second reboot. All right. Now let's try that. Slide BCLK up again. Probably gonna see the double reboot again, hopefully. Yeah, okay. Double reboot on everything. That's fine. Let's save it. Let's give it plus 200. I didn't. Yeah, I didn't like that. Maybe it doesn't like sixes as a timing. Alright. Tiny BCLK bump again. Doesn't like it. Oh, okay. Interesting. So now I don't know if stuck on C1 means BCLK overclocking failure or it just means slow post. Kind of got to check every time. Oh, 2 is usually not a good sign. So these are the top DDR2 scores on AM3. We've gone up to 400, 1400, and here's AM2 plus. So 712. I thought I subbed on that. Oh. So here's my previous score. So 712. $725, not an amazing amount extra. On a 955 Black Edition, 677 on an M2RS. Maybe that's the board for this thing. was quite happy to have this board back from the dead, but maybe I do need to go onto the DFI. Let's check what this board has even done in terms of frequency. I mean, it'll still be relevant for things like W prime and stuff. Come on, internet. Here we go. So I have the ref clock, that's always nice. And I have the highest memory frequency. That's not a good sign. Mr. Scott and Max Beach usually know what they're doing, and if they can only get 600 out of this thing. Yeah, I sort of... It is the 3:8 ratio though, so... Oh, that's dual. Dual on Sempron. My concern is that the bias isn't up to date on the DFI though. I don't know if it'll run these Semprons, but I can try. Let's try. Here's something I prepared earlier. So no one's chatting. They must all still be drunk or asleep from Thanksgiving, or maybe just too interested in Black Friday deals. This is, or both, such a clean board. Holy shit. I think Bilko located this for me. It I mean, I don't really usually care, but besides the socket, which is what I dirtied up, it sort of looks like it's just straight out of the factory. It's incredible. Or both. Yes, both is always an option. Quite a good option actually. Yeah, that's what I thought. Oh, just C1. Maybe give it a clear CMOS just in case. I'll try one more chip just for completeness. Okay, so that's now processor model unknown. That's fine. I don't really care. No, I don't want to boot an OS. I just want to get into BIOS, please, DFI. I even wonder if the inside stick is the way to go here, but let us try. Disable the LAN. Ungange in case that makes any difference. Manual timings, enable 2T. Let's even just go 6. Or just see if that'll boot. Not post. Three is the max. Okay. Let's try max mem clock. That's always a good hint. Didn't even realize that option was there until now. 50 on the core. I will have to attach the block after all. I can't spell, clearly. Alright, graceful shutdown. And let's attach the block. I wasn't expecting to be running more than a single core today, in my defense. Ouch, that's fucking hot. Tempted to just sit it on top, but Let's do this crap properly for a change. So anyone grab any good Black Friday deals? Sure, there were some. Not on graphics cards. Those are anti-deals. Hi Shmomo. I'm doing DDR2 max memory frequency on AMD. This beauty of a board. All right, so the theory with all of this is that basically the AMD IMCs are not good enough to stress all of the RAMs, so I'm not going to be swapping sticks too much. I'm mostly going to be swapping IMCs and boards because basically the top score of all time on AMD is 1400 and the top score of all time on Intel is 1800. So as long as these sticks are, you know, 400 megahertz worse than the best stick of all time or better, which is a big range, they won't be the limiting factor today, especially at, you know, dual channel, single channel and all that good stuff. Yeah, it sort of seems to me a bit like there's some sort of issue with Twitch at the moment. Let's just max all them timings. Man, just still seems loose for what it is, but okay. I hate how you have to specify why every time, but okay. So I still have a Win 7 here that works with this board. So I might just boot it simply to see what it's actually setting, so it's not leading me astray in any way. Yeah, well, that's sort of the only issue with this board, is that there's no real in-OS overclocking. Maybe I can find a specialized set FSB to this board if I look hard enough, but otherwise it's a bit limited. I have to switch to AHCI. So what RAM and SSD did you buy? 60 fine. Yeah, that's an AHCI install, so excuse me. $2666 up to $3,900. That's kind of nice. One terabyte. Not bad. I think it was actually this OS. Now, I don't think this will be valid for the... Let's actually check the competition. Oops. There we go. All right, so it is stage number 9. What's going on here? Let's just continue. Let's check for some DDR2. So we've got DDR3. I'm not looking at the actual type. I'm just looking here. DDR3, DDR4. I was doing a double take that would be really strong for DDR3. DDR3. Everyone's within a couple of megahertz basically. No, that's right. It's not in HCI mode anymore. Oh, it is. DDR2, 1,000 on DDR2. Now it's not great. Come on, it should find the disk, surely. It just did. All right, let's spend the time and restore an XP then. Okay. The only thing I don't know is the board automatically tuning down the dividers, because this is not a divider. Even though this looks like a divider selection menu, it's more of an memory clock aspiration indication menu, because the board will sort of dynamically um, decide which actual memory divider to use based on what you indicate here. So that's a bit dumb. So maybe that I'm just slipping down dividers as I'm upping the BCLK. So hopefully that's not what's happening. Hopefully that other selection that I'm making here, this maximum clock one, is helping me to some degree. $260 is good. I'm just waiting for this restore of this OS anyway. 265. Is that a hang? That appears to be a hang. Okay, let's go back to 270. So yeah, or I'm just waiting for this restore. Our competition so far doesn't seem to be that high. Ala did 646. With his exact DDR and board combination. Also with Callisto. Oh, let's spy on his set FSB. Nice. Okay, let's. So it's 2.2.134. Okay, 2.2.13498 3498 set FSB. Sweet. That might actually work. Meanwhile, we can give this thing a boot. Doesn't look so good, does it? Let's give it a retry. Sometimes these OSs need one boot on stock FSB. Ooh, that's starting to get rough. Certainly pushing. Okay. So let us get this set as FSBs copied over. And ideally we'd want a wallpaper as well. Ah, for fuck's sake. And Ale was using 7 for some reason. Here you go, kids. This is how you make your copy of XP legal again. Watch and learn. Gotta go to safe mode though. Alright, let's see if we can glean anything else from this master. Okay, so 64-bit version of Windows, no downcoring or upcoring. Oof, he's able to set 68830. That's the exact same board I have. Maybe he's doing a little bit of InOS memory timing changes or something. So that's really, and he's at a lower FSP. I might have to. So synchronous HT. I don't think Encore ever becomes an issue. I'll have to check the age of my BIOS, how much that's holding me back. But otherwise, I mean, that's just 2 Alice subs. So Astoria did all right. No, he's got a DDR2 Asus board. And there comes the reboot for some reason. Let's compare. I was just gonna say compare our G-subs, but actually, ooh, G-Skill DDR2. That's really interesting. Hold on, it's oh, it's 535. Oh, okay. Thought it was 635. So basically stock for those sticks. Looks very much like a 6 here, or maybe I'm just going blind. Yi managed to, so everyone else managed to stop below stock. So what's our top DDR3 sub at the moment actually? Just under 2800. I think I made a reasonable attempt at DDR3 once. And now it boots weird. Oh, this was cold though. Alright. Time to re-legalize ourselves. Hello, start menu and all that stuff. Explorer just died. It's not great. So come on, reboot. There we go. This appears to be my sub non-cold. Can I actually, I can just get it here, can't I? Yeah, I think the 1504 is LN2 as well, yeah. Okay. So my top non-cold result was this. So that was a 1400. They're subbing on Trinity. Interesting. Anyone else put out a good DDR3 result? KSATA, I suppose. Yeah, FX. Come on. So slow. This OS seems kind of screwed. I have to say it. .7 on-core is pretty high. Alright. Just in case there's something terribly wrong with this stick. It's because it's looking a bit like actual memory errors. So let's try the other. I've got a post at least, that's always a good start. I reset BIOS, so it's not that it's running at like 800 megahertz. Sort of looking a little bit snappier. But those could be famous last words. We'll see once we get into OS, if we get into OS. Hello. Interesting about single stage. I would have thought that the IMCs get a little bit worse on cold, but the only thing I'm sure about there is that they get worse on full pot cold. Maybe there's some sort of a sweet spot there. Alright, the one thing I can do is check if the multi is really on auto. Even though I'm pretty sure I cleared it. Yeah, auto everything. Alright, let's just do 10x. Let's explicitly tell it what to clock to. Do your thing, I don't care. As long as you boot afterwards. So friend of the channel, keep hating. Still first in this contest. Ralph has clearly put in another good sub recently. So all frozen. So we've got everyone's on win 7 now. For that little bit of extra memory stability. What I would be doing actually is trying win 7 32-bit. You can tell here from the version of the CPU Z that it's 64-bit. Usually you get a little bit of extra memory stability out of a 32-bit OS. On core nice and low. Completely and utterly maxed timings, at least primaries, including 3T. Still on the 4000 C18 kit. And what's Ralph doing? Nothing apparently. 4600 C18, but that's the thing about that is it's still B-die. B-die isn't ultra high frequency. So nice that he can do, again, obviously fully maxed out timings. Elected to leave core and encore at stock for some reason. Now that would make a big difference. I mean, a 32-bit run of Geekbench is still valid, isn't it? I mean, it's going to be slower, but since all we're interested in is max valid through Geekbench. Alright, time to restore a different OS. Unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, there's no way around it anymore. Seems weird, but I do have a good selection of OSs in my back pocket, but alright, let's try the Country Cup 2018 edition. That could be good. I don't know why it's so slow. I mean, I know it's single channel and all that, but Come on. So that's on the extreme side. Now let's look at the ambient side. Oh, we've got a Portuguese in first. That's what I like to see. Luacri. Never heard of that person. On a Z390 dark. That's kind of cool. Open image, please. Why does Chrome do this? Ooh, slow mode engaged. Really try hard. What kind of... Oh, just 4400 royals, it seems like. Well, I can't look at his or her wall because the wall is still broken on iRobot. I know Sparky and I know Skullbringer. And K-Sata. Sparky on the Z490 dark. Didn't really necessarily help him much, did it? That looks suspiciously like, almost like an XMP. That's very, very tight for the purposes of this competition. Let's have a look at our German compatriot. Oof, 19, 20, 20. And it's 4000 C15. I haven't even heard of that. What's GVK? All right, time to look at more of our rivals here in this arena. Isn't that like the Asia Pacific only bins or something? Yeah, it's B-die. I mean, more or less everything's B-die these days, but... So that's DDR3. We want DDR2. Only 5 over 700. Crucial SPD. Interesting. All right, restore is done. Well, that's if I really want to try hard, I'll have to reflash the SPD. I'd be happy with any. What about Dr. Swizz? What are they doing? Ballistics. That's fair enough. 61010. Alright, as expected, we need to reactivate. Should be mashing the F8 button, not the delete button. So interestingly, this Dr. Sway's 1400 plus is on the gigabyte. So let's do a little bit of a survey. What's Dragoon doing? M2RS. So 1 DFI, 1 gigabyte. One Asus. One DFI. So 3 DFI, 1 Asus, 1 gigabyte in this top tier here, above 1400 effective. What was Max running out of curiosity? The SH. Everyone seems to love those crucial SPDs. That's CL5, nice. And the lower divider, which again, I mean 300 bus is easily achievable, so I think whichever divider ends up clocking better for your particular IMC and stick is probably the way to go. Oh, 2 gigabyte sticks. So that's the 5 who did it on AM3. Now let's check. Well, let's check AM2. They got close. Ish. But the real competition is AM2 plus. So there's 6 total who did 1400 plus. And of those, 200 are on Asus, 1 on Gigabyte, and 3 on DFI. Athlon LE, nice. Now for a bit of a reality check, let's look at it in the context of the global rankings. So this is the first 100, and they're all Intel. And then let's see if I can spot the first AMD one. Oh, there's a Katori in here. Here we go. What's that? That's about half a a little bit less than halfway down the second page, so about 150th spot. I think 850 plus is so hard. The fact that Nay only, quote unquote, only did 821, that'll tell you. And he did it on a UD3R. And here's his binning spreadsheet. So he's binning at 2.6 volts to get 700 or more. That's good to know. And a lot of his sticks actually didn't do it. And then 2 sets of binning at for SuperPi 32, I'm at 2.2. One with CL4, one with CL5. .6 volts. Okay, I'm gonna keep that tab open. Hello OS, how are you doing? You gonna boot anytime soon? Okay. Let's try a different SATA port. Weird. Yeah, maybe I should really just follow this source. The crucials really look strong. G skill, well, there's an 810 amongst his G skills. Cell shocks were pretty good. Now the boot is really fast. I don't get it. Well, to this point at least. So yeah, I didn't realize that for... So basically the meta for DDR2 is pretty similar to DDR, because on DDR to get TCCD to do what you wanted to do, you kind of go to like 2.9 volts, but to bench it, you do like 2.6. It seems similar here because he was doing 32M binning at 2.2, but then max values at 2.6. Okay, that was just slow, but no, I don't want that. Whatever you're asking me to do, I do not want that. Did I even? Yeah, I did try to boot. It's all just melding into one. Run DLL 32.exe sys setup. Oh. OOB BNK. So my next question would be, is a good valid stick also a good 32M stick? So we have an 810. I don't know how I can shove this over a bit. Here we go. We have an 810, an 800 which does 640, an 810 that does 650. What's really, really crap? So failed to post is still a 610. Ooh, we have a boot. My God. Miracles do still happen. Alright, let's see what we're defaulting to here. 400. Well, no big surprise there. Let's see if we can load up our profile. Well, let's see if we can do like 250 BCLK, and then also if the set FSB will work. So CMOS reloaded, the maximum, and then 240, that's reasonable. And let's, like a boss, just dial in, Nay style, dial in 2.6. This post, we're sort of in business. Well, if it boots. At the highest memory strap. I see a boot. What's it gonna show? $479. $240. So it's the 1:2 ratio. Let's see if we can kind of force it into the higher ratio. So I've already selected it. I mean, done that weird pre-selection thing that doesn't actually get applied. And instead of maximum clock, so it's saying auto has no user limit. What if let's try manual. Manual sounds like something that should help us in our endeavors. Let's put it that way. All right, so we do have the highest strap. And as it stands, I mean, Explorer crash. So let's try and move some crap over from the USB. The most important aspect actually might be the new CPU Z. Might need to reboot to work properly. All right, let's do 250. Fuck it. Let's see if we can reboot and go into 250. Hopefully we have. Actually, while that's all taking place, let's double check we have the right CPU Z on here. .666, and if we can save this, it's going to be the best DDR2 entry in the comp. Is it all crashing? Or is it just a dodgy USB? It was even a set FSB on here. Is that actually a working one, I wonder? So this was 666. Actually, I didn't lower the CPU multiplier. I need to do that. It's quite high, really. Okay. Yeah, trying to browse around the USB stick is fraught with danger. Let's try that. Ooh, fancy shit. So where was our Alice score? It was a BKL. So I see ICS9 LPR. LPR 477 BKL. That is immensely helpful. All right, that hung understandably. 666 is still pretty good though. I could also use XOC mode. I need to make sure my valids have the SPD info in them though, and I need to get validation screenshots as well. So manual is absolutely critical. Let's actually just note that down. Okay. So manual's the way to go there. Couldn't quite off. Maybe like 8x. Let's see if it actually applies 8x properly. Ooh, this can go a little bit looser. Let's just do a full loosest possible. Well, let's first do a post. Why not? 260. You only live once. I'll have to keep an eye out on my CPU multiplier though. The weight was basically going to 15.5 even though I was setting 4. Maybe disabling cool and quiet fixed that. Okay. Alright, so that doesn't seem to have done very much. This is roughly where I validated previously by BCLKing up, but I need to get a cap anyway, so it's all good. What are even the goddamn rules for this crap? Okay, so 8x did apply, that's nice. And we have 680. Memory type ranking, no Zen 3 submissions. Verification screenshot includes CPU Z 1.9 for newer CPU, memory, and motherboard tabs. Okay, let us do that. These are slow to open. I should, once I've done one validation, I should try XOC mode. Yeah, that's right. Surely we've got some sort of weird and wonderful utility here somewhere. There we go. Fuck off. Alright, alright, alright. Time for MS Paint. So that's all good. Now we need the valid. Okay, I'm just gonna do a little bit of set FSB foo. But I don't expect any miracles. What I should really be doing is saving the controller in here. 477 BKL. 700. Sixth person in history to do 700 on AMD. And here's the blue screen. Well, you know, that's how it goes. Now we just need, what we really need is to save, nope, to save this. Maybe even work it up a little bit, like even two out of bias, and then you have to do less in OS. How does one clip? How far back can a clip go? $980 binning. Well, let me first have one attempt here. Actually, what I want to do is just save this goddamn controller so I don't have to re-select it every time. LPRS 477 BKL. And I'm just gonna up at 1. And I need to remember about fucking XOC mode. Encore is getting quite high. I wish I had some sort of control on Encore. Is this Encore? Maybe not. Okay. So Ralph did some 980. Ralph had a, hey, Avrariana, how are you doing? Okay, so my to-do list is find max bootable MHS megahertz at these settings, clip the 700 on AMD, and talk about 980 binning. Oh, okay. So I was still in time for clipping this thing. So let's see. Oh, that's actually a good place to start the clip. Okay, so yeah, let's do a 30-second clip. It needs to include the BCL, the green screen, blue screen though. Okay, 30 seconds isn't fast enough to include the blue screen. Let's do a 35-second clip. So we've got our 700. I'll put in the link once. Okay, yes, perfect. Blue screen, yes, this is great. Sixth person. I'm just gonna overhype it, you know, just because why not? In history, to do 700 megahertz valid DDR2 on AMD. Oh yeah, I don't want to make it too long. Okay, so here's the publish. Oh, it actually takes some time to. $257 was fine. Let's do 258. Wow, there's an actual progress bar and stuff to publishing a clip. I should do clips more often, actually. A standoffish motherboard. I know what they. um, they are certainly standoffish motherboards. I know exactly what you mean. This Gigabyte is a standoffish motherboard. So that's not so happy. Let's go back to 257. Baking cake. Fuck Twitch, just give me the clip. Okay, let us engage XOC mode, just because, you know, but we need to make sure that that still gives us SPD information in the valid. Nah, the clip is stuck on 100% for some reason. Frustrating. I'll have to clip it after the stream, which I really don't want to do. Okay, let's see if we can whip out a 700 again. I don't know if all these CPU Z windows will make it harder, but I'd rather have that than have to open CPU Z windows at 700 affected actual speed. Delightful. So here's our valid. And now let's make a screeny. Oof. Is that a hang? All right, that's it. We have a 700. Let's go for more. 705. 708. At 710, I'll have to valid again. Okay. So White Shark, the 980 binning, a few different things happened. First of all, G-Skill Tweakers and Country Cup happened, and I think the end of Team Cup as well. And then also, Rouse said something in one of his subs, one of his LN2 GPU Pi subs. I asked him about a binning method for Maxwell, and he said something along the lines of, just look at ASIC, and even ASIC is not reliable, and after that you just have to bin on LN2. So I'm sort of not going to be using LN2 for those kind of tasks this year, because, you know, if I'm going to be LN2ing anything between now and 2021, it'll be Country Cup related. I don't know if that's really going to happen, but if it will happen, then that's going to be the LN2 stuff. Right. Is there any other thing we can possibly fuck around with? What I really want is north bridge control, but where the fuck is north bridge control? I don't get it. I think I need a newer bias on this. What ASICs do I have? Good question. They're pretty close, I think. I thought I noted down ASICs here somewhere. I think they're written on the cards. I think there's something like between 67% and 72%, like a really small spread like that. I think what I want to do is just run off a 705 if possible, and then maybe try 2.7 volts just in case that makes a difference. And then next step will be different stick, and next step after that will be a different IMC. This definitely has turned out to be a pretty solid profile. But I still need to make sure I'm really producing valid valids, for lack of a better phraseology. So before I switch any hardware, I'm gonna validate one of these valids. I really think that Northbridge might actually be limiting us here. Oof. How could it be worse? I don't get it. Okay, let's just go down one BCLK. I'm sure it'll still BCLK up to 705 or so. Let's give it the 1 megahertz clock drift benefit of the doubt. See, that's where cold would help. If I'm really stuck with this board, if this board is really the best. Has the stick heated up or something? This board is really the best option in terms of getting max memory clock. Then cold on CPU is interesting just for the sake of Northbridge scaling, because typically I don't know exactly how it ends up working on DDR2, but with DNAB, which, well, this is a Callisto C2 stepping core, but you know, it's sort of the same thing with DNAB, Callisto, Thuban. You get linear CPU Northbridge scaling with temps. So full pot, you expect somewhere between 4.5 and 5 gigahertz. Ambient somewhere between 2.4 and 2.8 or something. Single stage would be like 3.3. So if you, I mean, we don't need much, right? Because we're not going to do 1500 on the RAM. Well, unlikely, given the fact that DDR2 has been out for God knows how long and nobody's done more than 1430 or something. That then means the amount of CPU Northbridge headroom we need is quite low. I mean, arguably, I wanted to enable XOC mode, which I thought I had. XOC is off again. What the hell? Okay. So yeah, core absolutely no problem. HT link absolutely boatloads of headroom, but 2.55 that could start to get a bit iffy. Just a little bit. I mean, when your entire system is on the edge already anyway, it doesn't take very much, you know, just a slight bit of extra stress, extra bit of instability for it to obviously blue screen or whatever. So ideally I'd want synchronous, like Northbridge at like twice the memory frequency or something. That would be absolutely ideal. You don't want to artificially slow it down either. I suppose it could help. I mean, I suppose in general, slowing down the speed of computation, or the whatever IPC basically of the system artificially by limiting HT link, limiting bus speed, limiting CPU speed, limiting encore, is sort of benefit, because it may again sort of puts slightly less pressure on the system. But that's all just idle speculation essentially. The fuck is this thing? Now, okay, let's give it one more try at 2.7. Maybe I should try 2.5 as well. Who knows? Maybe 2.6 is just this sort of ballpark, I'm bidding 50 different modules, let's keep it simple sort of approach. But let's I'm tempted to go balls to the wall, but let's do one sanity check at 2.7, one sanity check at 2.5, and then check our valas, and then swap the dim. The only issue with this whole thing is that I basically have like 50 IMCs lying around. So if I really wanted to go crazy, if I wanted to take the AMD record, which is it's sort of looking like, with perfect, you know, basically with the boards, CPUs and sticks I have in this room right now, it would seem that there's a good chance of that. I mean, I saw 710, right? I didn't validate 710, but I saw 710. Let's quickly sort of recheck. So let's just do best submission so we don't have any double ups. So I saw this. I basically saw this already, this frequency. So I'm only 15 real behind the absolute record, which gets hardware points. That's kind of funny. All right, let's let's take a look here. I'm not necessarily going for a valid now. I'm just checking to see what it'll set. Okay, maybe I am going for a valid. Change my mind. Seemed like there was a little bit more headroom there. Let's try to boot 2 megahertz higher and see what happens there. This is fun. I didn't expect this to turn out like this. It's definitely a far cry from the, what is it I did? 650. I think I did 650 flat on the other board. Yeah, here we go. 650 flat, and now we're sort of in the realm of 710 or so. Actually, I can sort of treat it like two different comps anyway. There's the all-time AMD record comp, which just requires a valid file, and then there's the country cup. Let's keep Explorer open. Let's try one step lower and see if we can squeeze out a 705. And now the slightly harder job of yes. Okay. Okay. I'm going to detach the OS drive and I'm going to validate it before I get too deep into the shenanigans. No, I don't want to fix it. I just want to open it. So we have the 705, 706 or whatever, but only the 700 has screenshot, rig pick and all, or dick pick as we call it in the industry. No, x86 validator. And now we go. Yeah, I want to validate manually. What other way is there? And this has to match the hardware bot name, otherwise it can technically be pulled. I think I need to unblock my uBlock origin. I don't get it. It's 1.94. Of course, the file is valid. Okay, next option would be shit. The next thing down that I have is a 680. Let's try the 680. Maybe the file really is corrupt. Who knows? The 700 can be my sandbag, right? Slow. Very, very slow. That's right. Take your time. Make sure you get that validation correct. Australian internet is so fucked. So, motherboard shows, that's good. I think this is alright. Okay. Let's keep that tab open. I'm not too bothered if it just goes away, but so the more orangey ballistic stick, the number 1 is the one I did that on, and this one with the more sort of bronzy colored heatsink is next, which is the number 2 stick. Like I said, very, 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 very likely I'm C limited. We need to go 2.6 though. Don't want to start off at 2.7, build up too much heat and all that good stuff. Hello, bias. Got our 2.6. To be fair, I think the actual canonically always bootable number has been 255. I boot up to 2.257, but towards the end when the stick was a bit flaky. Ooh, overclocking failed. Okay. So that stick is apparently worse. Let's try 200. That's a big difference. Time to find out my DDR2 and run through all of it. I'm gonna try an OCZ stick. I would like to have more than one stick that reliably does that. So here we've got our OCZ Platinums or whatever, C4, 1 gig stick, of course, PC7200. So that's only an 800 stick, but I found these good. I think this is what I did my Intel stuff with when I did 1400 or whatever on Intel. So let's see. Lag's annoying. I don't know if it's possible to degrade an IMC on water with no IMC volts applied, but hopefully that's not the case. Of course, I have about 50 of them spare, but this looks better than the second bulk stick so far, but early days. Oh, well. It would help if I actually oh, had my OS plugged in, but yeah, it looks better. Let's see what the InOS BCLK latitude is like. 250 boot. I wouldn't imagine you would get a 700 out of it. But who knows? Some platforms are weird like that. Let's do a retry. Maybe need to give it a boot at 200. All right. Why is the CPU core so hot? I don't really get it. It's not doing any work. Anyone notice my matching t-shirt yet? Matches all the yellow on the board. All right. Don't know what's going on with that stick. Tempted to go back to the first stick and make sure I get a 700 out while I have the rig set up. AMD data change. It's looking better. Okay, let's give it the disk check. We need some good camera. So stick 1 great, stick 2 weak, stick 1 on the OCZ kit, no boot, stick 2 seems to be booting. Hi Whirl, never seen that icon next to your debut. Oh, GlitchCon 2020. Okay, screw this, I don't want to do any more disk checking. Let's set some records. What's the GlitchCon? Never heard of that before. Let's just let's get a 690 out, you know, 700. Event in Twitch. There's TwitchCon as well though. I'm guessing it was all virtual this year. 2.6 volts on the RAM. Gotta love DDR2. Let's not screw around. 255 straight boot. I'm calling it. Well, got quite far. Screw that. So basically the record I'm chasing, for those who are new to the stream, is the following. All-time AMD DDR2 record is 725. I had a corrupted 700 and I've set up to 710. So I'm moving somewhere around this area. Actually, this includes duplicates. So let's just deduplicate that list. So we're talking, there's 5 people who've done it. Well, there's 6 actually, because this guy counts as well. I don't know how to show those 2 views together because they're 2 different CPU sockets. But there's 6 guys that have done it. Basically, if I can get a 712 or better, I will be 4th out of 7. I'm not sure if that's going to happen today. We're on our 4th stick. Here's the other 3 we've tried. I have plenty more though. So here's the good old 666. No, definitely a worse stick. That's good that I chanced upon the pretty decent IMC that can at least push my sticks early on. Let's get a bag of DDR2. A lot of this is junk though. Don't get your hopes up. Let's start with the Kingstons. What are these? $8,500s. Hold on, I actually got new DDR2 in recently. 8,500. I got this really rare bin of DDR2 and it was like a 9600 bin or something. 2 GB sticks, it's not really worth looking into. So much stuff. All right. Changed my mind. I'm starting with the crucials. I'll have to have a look at the SPD to even recognize what these are. They're ballistics of some description. Double-sided. All right, let's just chuck one in and see what happens. All right, that's a rough start. Just checking what I actually bought. Yeah, HyperX 9600 kit. I'll have to find that though. I'm not entirely sure where it is. I would hope that I'd at least be able to boot on these sticks. I think voltage tolerance of 2.6 volts and clock tolerance of 250 BCLK is a decent like benchmark. All right, I gotta give it an old CMOS clear. I actually want to go back down, call it 250, and save that. Hi Guggenkönig, how are you doing? Do you actually like Kip Pickles, or is that just your name? Yeah, these sticks may not even be D9s. They're not acting like anything I'm used to. So there's some... I'm just gonna have a quick look to see if I can find the 9600s. This is potentially going to be a good £15 spent on a couple of sticks of 9600s. Not that the 8500. I've got a couple of kits of 8500 as well. Those are probably going to clock quite nicely. Then I've got just had a little bit of a dig around, and I remember that these Corsairs rated for 2.1 volts were quite nice as well, but it's probably too much for tonight's stream. But let's give these 9600s a spin. A DDR, let's actually so if people don't know it, here is the famous ramlist.com which gives you an idea of which ICs are in which DDR2. And let's just have a quick look at the Kingstons. So I've got a couple of 8500s. They were just regular HyperXs, I think. Let's look at the kit number. Oh, this is a 4G kit rated at 2.3 volts. That's probably gonna be like power chips or some shit. That's not great. Let's discard that actually. But here we have a 2G kit rated at 2.2 and it ends in GN. So that's this one. So it has a chance of being Micron D9 or it's Promos. Okay, that's good to know. But what we're looking at is D9 GKX. Yes, rated at 2.3 to 2.35 volts. That's some special stuff. So 9600, since I'm bad at math. Yeah, so 1200 rated. Okay. And let's immediately abuse it by throwing 2.5 volts through it. Well, actually, let's be a bit gentle. And start with 2.4 and see what happens. When I chose this a few years back, I had a 5 kilogram pickle jar next to me, so I don't know. Nice. 16. Now that's a postcode I haven't seen before. Hopefully there's not some sort of weird incompatibility going on with this stick. Oh, after retry it worked. Okay. Overclocking failed. Fair enough. Let's try a bit more. Okay, that seems crisper at 2.5. Okay. So this is now basically equaling my best stick so far. Can we read the SVD? Not with XOC mode on, can we? Let's disable it just for posterity. The fact that it can't read the SPD even with how was I editing the readme instead of the config? Okay, that explains a lot. Fuck the readme. You'd be able to tell from the part number, I guess. But they decided to flash a very generic JDEC. Okay, anyway, let's get to work. Wouldn't you love it if this was your job? You know, just overclocking. Defaulted to 200 BCLK. Oh, stupid thing to do. Alright. My hopes of this being a magical low voltage stick are fast evaporating, so I'm just gonna go to the standard 2.6 and stop deluding myself. And oh, did it undo everything? No, just the host clock. Let's do 255 again at 2.6. Come on, let's do it. That looks like a crisper post than before. Stuck on 2D though. I don't like it. I don't know if the board is acting up, or the stick is acting up, or the IMC is acting up. Let's give it the benefit of the doubt and try the second stick of these 9600s. The heat is... wow. That's like DDR1 level of heat. I think there's certainly an argument to be made to run this particular exercise on chiller on the sticks. I mean, you could try and find the sweet spot with LN2, but it's a bit try hard. Yay, more spam bots. No, I don't want to add a friend. I want to kick. Banned. There we go. All right. Clearly something a little bit strange is going on here. So we need to go back to our known good stick and see if we can replicate previous results. And I have a feeling we'll have to be sort of a little bit quick. I think these dims do heat up quite a bit at 2.6. Yeah, well, we're posting. I think that'll be enough of a statement just to, well, in as far as anybody cares about the Country Cup, but for this stage, it'll be enough of a statement to put up a 700. If I can get it out. I also need to clean my OS a bit, realistically. Okay, that was a bit too ambitious, but okay. It's trying to get a 704. Let's just do a 700 flat and be happy. I don't like this logic of resetting. Well, it's useful, I suppose, in the sense that if all you're doing is just tweaking BCLK up and down as a daily daily bencher back in, or a daily like user back in 2007 or whenever this board came out, then it's a useful mechanism basically to only fail the BCLK overclock. But I would still argue in favor of just a full, your settings didn't apply, you know, here's the settings you try to apply, but just be aware that they're not now applied, you know, instead of resetting BCLK to 200 and leaving everything else in place. Okay, we've got our valid. Now we just need our screeny. Actually, let's do it with style and have the info screen up. No, you're not allowed to do that, Paint. Motherfucker. Well, the obvious solution is to downclock and then save the screenshot. Sits it still in the buffer. It's a bit lame, but here we go. Oh, for God's sake. How can I do this? Maybe have Paint open already. I don't know. Seems dumb. I can do whatever the fuck I want. I can navigate the file system and everything, but I can't save a screenshot. What the hell? Alright, let's try and find another screenshotting utility option. I tried capture.exe, I think. Okay, let's grab a fresh copy of screenshot.exe just in case. And we have a hang. Great. Okay, so we had a corrupted version of screenshot.exe for some reason. Oh, I still have an old... I just haven't... Yeah, I have an old screenshot of 700 anyway. It's just the valid file that was fucked. Okay, let's try and validate the file. And then be happy. And pretend the valid file and the screenshot both were produced at the same time. Let's just keep it as a secret between you and me, right? All right, time for a rig pick as well. And let's see. Let us revalidate. Yeah. Australia can't win again. Well, let's see. Let's see. What's wrong with my browser? Everything is conspiring against me at this point, including my internet. Did I validate twice? Okay, let's try the higher one. What's the worst that can happen? It's doing something. Ooh, got a 706. What's 3%? Now the next question is, I think I can sub the 706, right? Because they mentioned here the percentage difference allowed. We take 3% in general, CPZ valid counts. So 706.6 minus 3% is 706.6 multiplied by 0.97, 685. That's huge. Okay, I'm obviously subbing the 706 with a 700 screenshot. As long as it's clean. Are we clean? We're clean. Cool. All right. 3-hour mark. I'll sub off stream. Let's not bore you with that. Thanks for watching. I have so much DDR2 to go through. I hope it all behaves correctly at 2.5 volts, but I'm really happy that it doesn't seem like I necessarily need to bin IMCs. I think this is good enough to determine good and bad RAM sticks. But yeah, I thought I was gonna get LN2 this week, but it's just not been possible with this crazy hot weather. 39 degrees tomorrow. So like, share and subscribe and all that good stuff, and until next time, thanks for watching.